I think that the Zambian people are ready for a clean and beautiful city. Because when I walk into people's yards, the excellence that I see is amazing. I don't see it on the streets of Lusaka, but in the homes, people are really, really house proud. And they're proud of their gardens. My name is Florence Mwila-Mumba, and I'm the chairperson of the Kabulonga Garden Club. So you have visited us on a day in which I'm hosting. A little hectic, a little frazzled, but I enjoy it, and I'm happy that you could join us today. When I came here, and I have pictures, it was very, very dry. The owners of the property did not want the garden to be overwatered. They were trying to save money, so they were not really fond of they were not fighting the seasons. Right. So when I moved here, I was like, okay, I can do this, but I don't really like it. The grass was really compacted and tight, so we lifted it. So we go through with a fork and we lift the roots. So we lifted the entire ground to let the lawn grow back in. But the pots were brought in because there was no color. So everything that you see here is me, apart from the old. So you've got your sago palm, this is me, that's me, that's me. It was kind of dryish looking, and when I came here, they had dug up, they were doing some pipe work, so it was like just a whole heap of soil.
So it was basically just the
creeper at the back and a very narrow bed, like that narrow. But I wanted color, so I put in that.
That's
the lobster plant. Yes, I put it in there. I found this other
philodendron?
Yeah, philodendron. I found this here, but it was kind of back there and sort of shrunk because of the drought. You know, they kind of pull back. So with water, it's really taken on. And I also noticed when the lobster plant is in full leaf, it makes that grow even better because it's got shade.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, so it came to life because of the watering and the shade. The cestrum was also here, but it was small.
This one here?
Yeah, it was small. There was nothing here. That's all. These are just mine. I came with them from my old house.
White agapanthus.
And they're crazy.
Stunning.
And you know, I didn't know this, Priscilla, that they were white agapanthus. I was just making the bed bigger, and I had so many of them, and they were at the nursery, and I thought, you know what? Let me put them in the ground because I'd outgrown their bags. And then, boom, I walked around the corner one day. I was stunned.
And it complements that gardenia very nicely.
Imagine that.
They're all in flower.
Imagine that. And I didn't even know it. I just kind of put them in. I thought they were purple because there were some purple ones here. And you see the smaller, shorter ones coming through are purple ones.
Yeah. These ones.
So these are just magnificent. Okay, now I moved from Kitwe to Lusaka. So I belong to a garden club in Kitwe. So when I moved to Lusaka, to make friends, I decided to look for a garden club because I said that's really what I enjoy doing, and I knew I was going to meet a great bunch of women in it. So I joined the Lusaka Garden Club when I first moved to Lusaka and served on the executive committee for a while. And then we went off to Canada, and when I came back, the clubs had split into two, and I was asked to help formulate or make this one. So that's what happened. So gardening is really where I socially mix. And so particularly gardening, I chose this kind of club to find friends and to be able to visit homes and to be stimulated by other people and the work that they do. This one, you're going to have to give me the name of the rose, even though it is not at its best in the sense that it's hot and I haven't deadheaded them. Forgive me, I was too busy. What is the name of this rose? Okay, this rose is called Double Delight. And yes, it's called Double Delight. One of the most fragrant roses, very like a tea rose. Double Delight. Very airy.
So just broadly speaking, what is the purpose of a garden club?
Well, the purpose, okay, maybe let me take it back from how we started in Kitwe. In Kitwe, we exchanged plants. It was still very new. The garden club concept was very new. And there are not a lot of nurseries in Kitwe, like Rose Garden or Palm View. Those are formal, I would call them formal nurseries. In Kitwe, there was more of an exchanging. So if you were a gardener and you wanted variety and you wanted to, learn how people grow different things, you actually had to make a friend with someone who had a different kind of plant and was growing it, maybe commercially. The late Mumeka Stratford was a very close friend of mine. I met her in Kitwe, and she was growing roses at a time when we could only come to Lusaka to buy roses. So when I found someone on the Copperbelt growing roses commercially, I was like, oh wow. And that's how we became friends. And she passed away a few years ago, one of my closest friends. But she had an exceptional garden. She was an engineer, so she used her skills to set up a garden. So every time I visited her home, first we exchanged plants, but also she taught me how to lay out a garden.
What would you suggest as an experienced gardener, off the top of your head, if someone wants to beautify their garden? Just 3 simple tips that a novice gardener could...
I would say don't lay down those concrete pavers. I understand what you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to minimize on having a full-time gardener, but if you are going to have a paved area, do leave room for trees and things that will grow around your property and create shade, because that concrete creates a lot of heat. So the earth absorbs heat, the grass absorbs heat. So that's why when you're seated in a garden on a hot day, it still feels cool. So under a tree, so when you water the garden, so you've got moisture in the garden, so it just cools down your environment. And another thing is, if we're going to love plants, let's understand them. Let's even know their names. Let's know what they want, what they need to thrive, rather than just everything you see online you order. Let's understand that some plants will not thrive. And that's one of the things that we sort of enjoyed when we took our tour to South Africa in April. We noticed that people were not forcing their environments to accept plants that are not from there. So one beautiful thing we observed about visiting Keith Kirsten's farm in Lanseria and Random Harvest in Lanseria as well, is that they are dealing with plants that grow in their area, and they have become the experts in those. So if you wanted a nature garden, you would go to Random Harvest and they would plant a garden that looks like bush. So I love that. I love the fact that people have niche abilities, and also that they're not trying to grow every plant under the sun.
And so for gardens around Lusaka, you knowing the climate, you knowing the water.
Understanding, yes, and we've got water issues.
Yeah, is there a certain trend you would recommend?
I do love lawns, so I will not be, I'll be that person who will try to maintain the lawn even in a hot season. So borehole water is very important, because I imagine that if I didn't have underground water, the garden wouldn't look like this. I would have to sort of submit to the dry spell, which is hard for me, to be honest. I find it very, very stressful. But in future, I think I'm leaning towards maybe my gardens of the future will be palm trees, which have short roots, agaves and grasses, and then a bit of gravel and rock, natural rock thing. That's what I'm thinking for the future, for a future project that I'll be working on soon. So that I don't spend too much money on trying to force things to grow and overfeeding them and overwatering them. Kind of just being water-wise. All year round I garden. I don't have that, I will garden in the rainy season. As a matter of fact, I'm gardening now for the rainy season. In the rainy season, there's so much rain that sometimes you don't get a chance to work in the garden. So all these beds, Priscilla, were small beds. I've just made them bigger, and I planted, and also I had so many plants at the nursery that I had to put them back in the ground.
I mean, these are like almost 2 meters wide?
Yes, and I did that just this past year. They've not even hit a rainy season.
Wow.
So I just put them in and I stressed. Then this plant, this one here was given to me from an old property I was renting in Kitwe, and it's orange.
Oh, that's stunning.
Yeah, so different from old, and I love Kitwe because it's an old town, and so you've got plants there that are not common here. So this I got from Kitwe. This I got from the red one, I think, from my mom. So plants, and my mom has now passed, so things speak to me. All the roses in the pots are from my mom, so they speak to me.
I like that idea of memorial plants.
Yes,
planting trees, planting...
The Lusaka Garden Club is like that. They have a memorial section.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the ashes of one of the first members are actually in the rose bed. So it's a very sacred place. So that I got that idea from there. That a garden must be living, and it must keep going. And even because my mom taught me how to garden, so it's like her legacy lives on. And I'm praying that one of my kids, even though they don't look interested, like one of them will say, you know what, I'm going to garden like my mom.
Right, ladies, how did you find the meeting today?
It was beautiful, insightful, I had a great time. Great.
And so generally for you, what are the benefits of garden clubs in general?
Well, very educative. Getting to learn a lot of things. I'm very much disappointed in myself that I couldn't even know which plant is which. I don't even know the names. But with time, I'm sure I'll be inspired to like to know the names of the plants.
My experience today has been amazing. I think first getting to learn from the people. Usually there's a stereotype that goes around being, as young women, being around a certain age. In terms of socializing, this one has been different. There's been a lot of knowledge sharing.
Yeah.
How has it been?
It's been good.
Really?
You've got a beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh, thank you.
It's just
Thank you so
peaceful.
much. Yeah, it's peaceful, isn't it?
Yes.
And the birds. When my son visits, he always says, you know what I love about Africa, Mom? You forget it's the bird song.
Yeah, so
The birds in the morning and then the birds in the evening. I would love our local government to be more trusting of us as Zambians, that we've reached a stage. We visit countries. How many of us just don't love going to South Africa? And what we love to see is this public space that's so well cared for. And it causes people to live at peace and more relaxed lives, because you've got greenery, you've got places you can go and walk, there are parks. And over here, sadly, in Lusaka, there's a lot of noise, a lot of loud music, loud club music, very few green spaces. So if I said I wanted to go somewhere public right now, there's nowhere to go. And so I would like to see a place where the city uses that talent to allow us to adopt green spaces. So we've been applying to the local government for the last year plus, trying to get a green space to say, look, it's becoming a market. And it's like we're trading, everywhere it's trading, but we want green spaces where people can come and sit. It's a public park, anyone can sit there, we put playground for kids. Then we can have those markets where people are selling plants occasionally, but not where everything is a trading place. Yeah, so we'd love to be able to adopt some green spaces. That would be the next level for us as a garden club.